And now, Mike's Thoughts.
What is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckhouse here with the Man Hour. No special intro today. No special breakdown. No special of Mike's Thoughts. This is live. This is Brawl. This is uncut NFL talk, and I want to jump right into it. And I got to welcome the man, the myth, the legend from the NFL Experts Podcast, my man, Mr. Wayne G. What's up, Wayne?
What's going on? As I say on my show, what is pippity-poppadin'?
What is pickety-poppadin'? What does that even mean?
I don't know. I just started saying it one day and it was fun, so I kept with it.
There you go. You know what? It is what it is. You got to have fun when you do podcasts, when you have shows, when you're out there streaming to the people and dealing with the abstracts of daily life. But tell the people a little bit about your show before you get too carried away.
Yeah, for sure. So the NFL Experts, we are usually on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and it is myself and Mark DiGiacomo. He's my co-host. He's a Broncos fan. I'm a Patriots fan, but we talk all things football, whatever's going on in the news. We've been breaking down the schedules lately, but we did take a couple of weeks off here because, let's be honest, this time of year, not a whole lot going on.
AKA the dog days of NFL season. And I agree with you. There's a whole lot not going on, and that's why I'm going through each and every team, breaking them down. And when it came up to time to do the New England Patriots, I'm like, Wayne G is my guy. We are going to have them. And so I want to talk about the Patriots 2 days. The Patriots have kind of had that turbulent offseason, I guess you can say. They new coach, new quarterback, new GM, new outlook on life possibly. What do you think about the offseason moves that the Patriots have had so far this season?
I hate them because the first move we have to talk about is releasing Bill Belichick, or parting ways with Bill Belichick, who I do believe is the best coach in NFL history and still one of the best coaches, if not the best coach in the NFL today. I understand things went south with Mac Jones. He didn't get along with Robert Kraft. But that's the biggest offseason move, and I don't think they really signed any big-name free agents. The draft was okay for them. They got a quarterback who's probably not going to play for half the season, so not a lot to be optimistic about.
Yeah, and that's kind of the first question that I want to ask you about is, who do you think the starting quarterback is going to be? Is it going to be Jacoby Brissett, or is it going to be Drake May? And I think you already kind of answered that, but dive a little bit more into that.
I think it's going to be Jacoby Brissett, but it could also be Bailey Zappi. I don't want to close the door on him. They have 4 quarterbacks on the roster right now. Joe Milton is going to be on the roster when the season starts. He actually may be a practice squad guy, but he will be on that roster, I think. So I don't think they're going to carry all 4. Bailey Zappi is the one who's on the hottest seat, but I think that he could have a good preseason. And, Jacoby Brissett gets the axe. It's a 1-year deal, not a lot of guaranteed money. So I could see Bailey Zappi winning that, but my heart tells me, or my brain tells me, it's probably going to be Brissett for at least the first 8 games.
Yeah, I was actually looking at the schedule, and the first four games are pretty tough on the old Jacoby Brissett as is. And to be honest, the Patriots schedule is not very favorable, and that's kind of what I want to jump into right off the bat. Is week 1. The New England Patriots played Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati. And this game, I'm kind of like, do they even have a shot? Can the defense hang with the high-flying Bengals offense, or is it just going to be just a complete blowout? What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, it's in Cincinnati, so that gives the edge to Cincinnati. Now, I don't know how long Joe Burrow is going to be healthy for, but we have to assume at least for the first week of the season.
Right.
So I think that it's going to be definitely a win for the Bengals. How big, I'm not sure. I still believe in this Patriots defense. It's a very solid defensive unit. I don't see a lot of teams blowing them out unless they turn the ball over a lot. But with Jacoby Brissett and a run game heavy is what I'm thinking, offensive plan, it's probably not going to be a lot of blowouts, but also not a lot of wins for them. So this is a loss I have for them as well.
For the loss for the Patriots, I'm assuming here. But we do got to welcome some people into the chat here. I totally forgot that to welcome people into the chat. I was so excited to talk to you, Wayne. But Mark is in the chat. He says, "What's up, yo guys? What's up, Mark? What's up? We will be talking about the Broncos next week, so be sure to we'll touch bases and we'll get Mark on. But Mark is your co-host there, and he's a Denver Broncos fan, so we got to give him a little bit of slack. But he does say, "Yo, what's up?" Of course, we got my man Jim Powell in the chat and says, "I thought you got arrested at the PGA Tour on Sunday, pulling your best Scotty Scheffler, huh, Mark or Wayne?"
No, I was actually there on Saturday, and I actually missed Cameron Young shot a 59. It's only the 13th or 14th time in history that's happened. And he was on the 18th. He buried his putt for the 59. We were on the first. So we heard the cheer all the way across the course, but we weren't there to see it.
Yeah, I was here when Scotty got arrested here in Louisville. It was good times. And we got James Frank in the chat as well. What's up, James? It says he will be missed in the land. Says they got the real one in Takaki. Is that how you say?
Taki.
Yeah. Will you miss him? I don't know.
We have him here now. We'll see how he does.
Yeah, we'll see. Week number 2, back at home for the first game of the season at home, take on the Seattle Seahawks. This is a kind of a game that I've kind of tossed up in the air. Like, I don't know how good the Seahawks are going to be, but I think they can probably pull out this win. But what are your thoughts about this Seahawk game?
I think this is a win for the Patriots, and I'll tell you why. Similar to you, I don't know how I feel about this Seahawks team this season. I know they have a good receiving core. They have a good running back tandem. They usually have a good defense, and they have a defensive-minded head coach. However, I think this is a 4-13 team, and I think one of those 13 losses comes to the Patriots in week 2.
Yeah, the Seahawks are the true wild card because I don't know nothing about their head coach at all. Do you know anything about the Seahawks, like, head coach at all, just besides his name and kind of his past history? Like, is he a defensive-minded head coach? Is he offensive-minded like head coach?
He's defensive-minded, I believe, and that was surprising because they had a defensive-minded coach in Pete Carroll. So similar to the Patriots, where you went from a defensive guy to a defensive guy, they go from a defensive guy to a defensive guy. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, honestly, letting Pete Carroll go was kind of a kind of like why, like a head scratching move there. But as we go by week here, week 3, they're back on the road, take on the Jets, a division foe. Is this a potential win?
I have this as a loss for them. I know that I always say the Jets are going to jet, but I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be healthy at this point in the season. I think that the Jets are too good to beat the Patriots. This Patriots team is really bad. I'm going to be saying loss a lot through these 17 games, and this is going to be one of them at New York because I believe this is also a Thursday night game.
Yes.
So right after beating Seattle, short rest, I think they go into New York, they lose.
And to be honest, that might be their best ways to get multiple wins this season is getting a win and then going on that short week so you don't really think about it and kind of build your own hype up. Plus, I don't trust the Jets at all. I mean, yes, they do have Aaron Rodgers and arguably one of the best receivers in the NFL and Garrett, but Jets are, like you said, Jets are going to jet, and they've been 7-10, 7-10, 7-10, and Robert Saleh is on the hot seat, and unfortunately, I think the Jets are really, really overrated, but I'll be breaking them down later. And it's just tough for me to talk well about the Jets. We got CQE Ditz says, "What's up, guys? What's up? What's going on to you, man? What's up, man? As well." Mark says, "I don't trust the Jets either." Let me ask you this question, Wayne G. You are in the New England area, the New York area. Is Robert Saleh on the hot seat?
I think so. I mean, Aaron Rodgers got hurt last year, so they couldn't pin that on him. They couldn't say, well, you had a bad season because they were putting everything on him. Well, now Rodgers is back. He looks like he's going to be healthy. He says he's healthy. And so if he plays the full season and they go 4-13 or they go 7-10, I think Saleh's out. I think if Aaron Rodgers gets hurt again, he doesn't get a second free pass. It's basically you have to win, make the playoffs now, or you're gone.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think last year was a pass for them either because you really didn't have Aaron Rodgers all season long. Yes, you can bank on whatever you want, but the truth of the matter is Nathaniel Hackett is a terrible coach and an even worse offensive of coordinator, and it shows that Aaron Rodgers pretty much carried him, right?
Yeah, exactly. Aaron Rodgers was everything, and then it was like, all right, we got Zach Wilson. Let's see what we can do. So I think really a lot of it's going to fall on Breece Hall, him carrying the load for the offense.
Yeah, we'll definitely see about that. Jim Powell says Roger will probably already be out come week 3. I'm not wishing him ill will, but he's old and fragile.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, Tom Brady was old as well. I mean, maybe he's working with Brady's guy.
Yeah,
stretched.
Maybe. And Mark says Aaron Rodgers ditched minicamp to go to Akasawaka, however you say that name. But on the flip side, Mark, he was at every voluntary workout as well. So, I mean, it's not like he skipped all summer. He just missed mandatory camp, right?
Yeah, he goes on an LSD trip or whatever every year at the start of the season.
Yeah, and you can't argue with the MVP, right? And speaking of MVP, not Brock Purdy, but week 4, the Patriots travel to West to go to California to take on the 49ers. And do the Patriots have a shot in this game?
No, I said they weren't going to get blown out a whole lot, but this will be one of those exceptions. I think the 49ers absolutely just steamrolled this team. I don't think the Patriots can counter that defense. On offense, they don't have enough offensive weapons. And on defense, as good as they are, that offense for San Fran, as long as they keep Ayuk and Samuel, because we'll see what happens there, they're really tough.
Yeah, so you keep referring that they're not going to get blown out. Is it because their defense is that good, or their offense is going to be able to keep them in some games?
It's a combination. When you have a defensive heavy team or a defensive favored team like Belichick has brought up throughout the years, they usually lean on the running game. The quarterback just has to not make mistakes. You don't need a playmaker at quarterback, just a guy who doesn't make mistakes. And Brissett's totally that guy. They have a decent running game with Ramondre Stevenson. However, I don't think that, and I said they're not going to get blown out because they're going to manage the clock. Their defense is great. Their defensive pass rush might be one of the best in the NFL. Their secondary is great. I don't know how they can stop the run. They're going up against Christian McCaffrey here, so I don't think it's going to be a good game for them.
Right. So I spoke earlier about how really tough the Patriots schedule actually is, because if we look at their schedule, week 1 on the road, week 3 on the road, week 4 on the road. So to start the season, the first month of the season, 3 of their four games are on the road, but then week 5 comes and you get a nice little home stretch. You get a whole month at home, starting off week 5, taking on the Miami Dolphins, another division foe. Can the Patriots pull the upset at all?
I don't think so. I have this as a loss as well. I have them basically going 1-5 in the division, but they're going to lose this game to the Dolphins. The Dolphins, this is another game that because of their speed, both at wide receiver, at running back, they could put up 50. We don't know. But it's in New England, so I don't think that's going to be a blowout here, but it will be a loss.
Yeah, this is the one part of the schedule where I'm like, man, they could have pushed this back to December to give the Patriots a shot, right? But it's going to be nice and warm, not going to be cold yet. Might be a perfect 65-degree day up there, and I'm not for sure if the Patriots can hang with the Dolphins. But I'm going to save my picks for to the end of the show here. But they're somehow, some way, the Patriots always seem to beat the Miami Dolphins, but that's usually at Miami, right?
Right. Well, so in Miami, the game at Miami is usually later in the season because all the snowbirds up here in New England, they go down to Florida to live for the winter, and they watch that game down there.
So they give us another home game, week 6 matchup when the Houston Texans come into town. Many people are super high on the Texans, and let's not forget, it took a drop pass from the Indianapolis Colts running back to get the Texans into the playoffs, but nonetheless, they are a playoff team. They did go to the divisional round last season. Patriots going to New England. Once again, Texans are maybe a little overrated, but they're still pretty good. Can the Patriots even hang with them in this week?
I don't think so. Again, the Texans were great last year, especially C.J. Stroud, who I think had, 28 touchdowns to 4 interceptions or 6 interceptions. Very efficient, very accurate. And then they added Joe Mixon at running back. They added Stephon Diggs at wide receiver. This team got significantly better, and they were already good. So they're going to be really tough. I don't think the Patriots can beat them. Yeah,
and let's not forget that C.J. Stroud didn't throw his first interception until week 12 or 13 or something like that. He's been very efficient on that. Give us another home game versus your prototypical built-in-a-lab quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, taking on the New England Patriots here. What do you like about this game?
I like watching Trevor Lawrence throw the football, and I think he's going to do it a lot against this team, and he's going to have success against this team. I think he's worth every single penny that they gave him. I do think he's got the talent to be a top 5 quarterback in the league. I'm not saying he is right now, but this is a game, again, that I think the Patriots just can't keep with that offense. I'm not sure about the Jaguars' defense, so it could be a closer game. But, again, I don't believe in the Patriots' offense either. That their offense is as bad as the Jaguars' defense probably, so that's a wash.
Yeah, and we were talking about the Seahawks earlier about we don't know what they're going to bring, right? And unfortunately, we don't know what the Jaguars are going to bring either because their receiving core took a huge loss this offseason of losing Calvin out there. And I'm not for sure if Trevor Lawrence can get the rest of the guys kind of elevated, right? Like, I think that's the biggest knock on Trevor Lawrence right now is he doesn't elevate the players around him. Can Trevor Lawrence elevate the people around him at at all?
I think he can. I think that he doesn't have a ton of talent. He's not Tom Brady, so he's not a guy who's going to go to the Super Bowl with David Givens as your number one receiver.
Right.
But he's a guy who has a lot of talent, and if you put even moderate receivers around him, which I think he has, I think he's a guy who's going to be tough to beat. The division he's in is weird. I don't know. Everyone in that division could go 8-9, all 4 teams.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it's going to play out with the Jaguars.
All right, guys. So just to break it down so far, we are talking with my man Wayne G from the NFL Experts Podcast. They air every Wednesday night over here at Facebook and, of course, YouTube.com. Be sure to, guys, give them a like and a follow. Like we were speaking with my man Wayne G. We're breaking down the New England Patriots 2024 NFL schedule. So far, the Patriots are not looking very good. They've had a tough start to the season. Now we're on our 4th home game in a row and a rematch of Week 3 taking on the New York Jets, this time at home. Patriots
so
will win.
At this point, they're 1-6, and I think the Jets come to New England, and I think the Jets lose this one. This is the game where I think that at home, this is where the Jets are going to jet. Patriots probably get 4 or 5 sacks, couple interceptions, and they actually finally get their second win of the season to go to 2-6.
So let me ask you this question, because my wife is over here looking at me weird, and she's like, what does it mean when Jets are going to jet? Can you explain to the people that are not really ingrained into the football world like we are, like, what does it mean when Jets are going to jet?
The Jets are going to find a way to lose. They do it all the time, whether it was with Chad Pennington, whether it's with Mark Sanchez, and I know they had the butt fumble game, and they beat the Patriots back when they had Sanchez, but they didn't make it to the Super Bowl. The Jets always figure out a way to lose. No matter what you give them for weapons, quarterbacks, wide receivers, they're going to look really hard. They're going to try to find a way to lose. They'll find it, and they'll put it into play, and they'll lose. That's what the Jets are going to jet me. They're going to figure out a way to lose the game.
Yeah, it just, unfortunately, if basically the Jets have no luck or bad luck. Nothing really ever goes their way. And nothing in my book right now is going the Patriots' way whatsoever. They've had 4 home games, finally get a win, right? But then we just talked about the AFC South and about how every team could be 8-9 at some particular point in this season. But I think the Texans got a hell of a lot better this offseason on both sides of the ball, finally giving the keys of the kingdom to Will Levis, and the Patriots travel to Nashville to take on the Titans. Can they pull out the win?
I say no. And yeah, this team the Titans, they could be unbeatable, or they could be not that good. Well, it all falls on Levis's arm, what he can do. But they gave him the receivers. His receiving room is loaded. They went out and they got Tony Pollard. I know they lost Derrick Henry, but they get Pollard in there, who's a receiving back anyways. So even more receivers. They fixed the left tackle. That was their biggest issue last season. 40% of the sacks they gave up came from left tackle. They got J.C. Latham out of Alabama. So he's well protected. He's got guys he can throw to. Will Levis, like I said, he could be an MVP candidate, or this team could be 4-13, and he's no longer the starter after 2 years.
Yeah, I think the Titans are going to be pretty good, but at the same time, I also think the Patriots are not going to be bad as you or many people out there are going to think. I think the Patriots do pull out a couple wins at some time along the season. They're going to upset somebody. Is it the Titans? I don't know. Like I said, I'll save that till the very end. And that gives a Week 10 matchup. They're back on the road, take on a rookie quarterback this time in the Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams. Can they beat the rookie quarterback?
They cannot. I mean, when Bill Belichick was there, I think he had a record of like 40-3 or 40-4 against rookie quarterbacks. He's not there anymore. And I know Gerard Mayo is supposed to be mini Belichick, but I think Caleb Williams is a special quarterback. You look at what he has in receivers with Keenan Allen and DJ Moore and Romo Dunze, and they went out and they got Swift at running back. That whole team just rebuilt, ready to win right now. I don't think they're going to in that division, but they will against the Patriots because I don't think the Patriots can stop them.
Yeah, and let's not forget that they added Sweat last year on the trade deadline to boost up that defensive line as well, and the defense is just as potent as the offense could be. I think the Chicago Bears have a bright future ahead of them, but I'm kind of on you with not right now. Slow it down, baby, as the people like to say. But speaking of a team that people are kind of don't know what to do, we've talked about the Titans, we've talked about the Colts, we've talked about the Seahawks. We don't know how good they're going to be, and the LA Rams. This is a team that we don't know how good or how bad they're going to be. Last season, a lot of people slept on them. I were kind of hyped on them. I thought they were going to make the playoffs. They made the playoffs. Lost to Detroit, but they lost a huge part of their defense in Aaron Donald this season. And Matthew Stafford is kind of doing like a passive holdout. He wants some dollar bills, yo. But week 11, the Rams do come to New England to take on the Patriots.
And what I think will be really interesting for storylines, so if we believe in the scripted NFL, expect this to happen. Jimmy Garoppolo is the backup in LA. So maybe Stafford gets hurt around this time, and then Garoppolo versus the Patriots with the Rams. If you believe in the NFL script, you'll see that happen. I do think Aaron Donald was a huge loss. I mean, it's basically their entire defense was Aaron Donald. Yeah. I think they've got decent receivers. They've got a good running game. Again, if Matthew Stafford stays healthy, that's decent. I think Sean McVay is the best coach in the NFL over Andy Reid. I know as a Chiefs fan, you probably don't like that, but I think that this is a team that's going to beat the Patriots, even with all those question marks.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Jacoby Brissett drafted by the Patriots 10 years ago? Like at this point?
Yeah, well, Brissett was picked in like the 4th round, but Jimmy Garoppolo, was a 2nd round pick for them.
Yeah.
However, he was supposed to replace Tom Brady, and remember, Belichick wanted to trade Brady and stick with Garoppolo, and Kraft said no way.
Yeah, and if you believe in storylines, scripted, this is definitely. I agree with you 100%. But we will see. We will see. Week 12, the Patriots are back on the road. Imagine that, a month gone by, 3 road games, 1 home game. They're back on the road in Miami this time. Take on the Dolphins. Can they pull the upset in Miami?
No, they couldn't beat Miami at home. They're not going to beat Miami on the road. I know it's November. It's Florida. It's probably going to be 96, and they're coming from New England where it's probably going to be 46.
Right.
And I think they're just going to be sweating. They're going to be run all over that field. Again, Miami could put up a huge number in this game.
Let's hope it's not 70 like they did against the Broncos last season. But also that kind of kicked off the Broncos season like a little bit too. So maybe this could kick off a winning streak potentially for the New England Patriots traveling to week 13. They're finally back at home, taking on the Colts, another AFC South team. Can they win?
Yeah, so this game's December 1st. It's going to be cold in New England. Indianapolis is an indoor team. They're going to come here. I love Anthony Richardson and what he's doing, but he is essentially a rookie quarterback, only starting like 3 or 4 games last year before he got hurt. So I think that this is a game the Colts lose. The Patriots pick up another win here, I think, against the Colts in the cold weather with Anthony Richardson.
I like the Colts a lot. Actually, I am very fond of the AFC South this year in general, and I think the Patriots kind of got the short end of the stick of having to play that division and the NFC West this season. But that gives us a week 14, and that is their bye week. At this point, Wayne, Patriots are not doing very, very good. And you said at some point Drake May was probably going to get the start. Is this week 14 when they finally pull the trigger and make that quarterback transition, or have they already done that?
I think they could do it here, and it makes sense to do it here to give him some reps. The only thing is that this still isn't an easy stretch, only because you still have at the Bills, and then you're going to have finish the season home to the Bills. That's not going to be good for Drake May. Obviously, at the Cardinals is a great way to start your rookie campaign, get your first start, maybe get a win against the Cardinals. But it is. This is probably where he gets the start, but it's not going to be a great finish for him.
Yeah. So speaking of the Cardinals, week 15 they travel to Arizona, fresh off the bye week, taking on a much improved Cardinals team. Many people are hyping the Cardinals up a lot this season with Kyler Murray coming back from his ACL, Marvin Harrison Jr. in the helm. But their defense seems very iffy, right? The rest of the team seems very iffy. Can the Patriots go in there with the potentially Drake May as his first start and get the dub?
They could. I mean, this would be a toss-up. And again, especially with Drake May going in there, if he is the starter at this point, teams don't really have any film on him. It's his debut. They're going to see him for the first time. He's got a great arm. We know that. We know the Patriots receiving room is young, but at this point, they've started to learn the playbook a little bit. So this could be an upset. I have it as a loss, but it could be a win. This will be a close game.
So let me ask you this question. Last season, I thought the Packers were going to be really bad, and then toward the end of the season, they were going to be really, really good because of the young receiver core, basically Jordan Love being a rookie quarterback like at that time, and the head coach finally getting Aaron Rodgers out and kind of being his team. could we potentially see the Patriots be a really bad team the first month or two of the season, then kind of start to turn it on toward the end? Because with the rookie quarterback, rookie head coach, etc.
No, and I do think that Drake May has every bit of the talent that Jordan Love has, but Jordan Love had 3 years with the playbook, and Drake May is going to have 2 months with it. So I
Right.
don't think that he's going to develop as quickly as we saw Jordan Love turn it on second half of the season. You're not going to see that from Drake May.
Right, and also Jordan Love had the opportunity to sit behind Aaron Rodgers for those years as well, learning from one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Give us a Week 16. We talked about the Buffalo Bills. They traveled to Buffalo to take on Josh Allen and the Bills.
Yeah, if you want to make $20 an hour, hang around this game because they're probably going to need some people to shovel and snow blow for them. Late December game in Buffalo. It's going to be cold. All those hits are going to hurt 10 times more than they usually do.
Yeah.
And this is going to be, if this is Drake May's second game, this is going to be his wake up call to the NFL. Welcome to the NFL, rookie.
Yeah. Does it never not snow in Buffalo in late December, feet upon feet of snow? I don't think so. But Week 17, finally back at home after this schedule is just so weird. All these road games, all these home games in a row. They felt like they could have mixed them up a little bit better. But finally at home, take on the LA Chargers and Justin Herbert. Does Drake May potentially get a second win?
I think he does, but I really think more this is Herbert losing the game. So I love Herbert's talent, his arm talent. I know he lost Keenan Allen, which is a huge loss. He lost Mike Williams. I think that's a loss. So you've got Quentin Nelson or whatever is not Quentin Nelson. Quentin Johnson is your best receiver.
Yeah.
I don't know if I love this Chargers team for Jim Harbaugh's first year. Again, another team that could be 8-9, 7-10. I think this is a loss for the Chargers, a win for the Patriots in New England.
Yeah. We talked about overhyped teams, and I think the Chargers are potentially an overhyped team as well. Yes, I do love the addition of Coach Harbaugh back there, but when you lose 3 big offensive parts of their team, how well can you bounce back from that? Of course, they were always injured, but it is what it is. Giving us the final game of the year at home, take on division rival Buffalo Bills. Game probably doesn't matter much for the Bills at this point. So can the Patriots potentially get the 4th win of the season?
No, I think this is a loss, and I think the game does matter for Buffalo because I actually have Miami winning the division. Okay. And I think that Buffalo is going to need to scrape and claw to try to win the division this year, and they're actually going to end up with a wild card. But they do win this game to end up getting a wild card.
So basically, you had the Patriots being pretty bad this year. What was it, 3-14?
4-13.
4-13. So not a very good record at all. Potentially a top 5 pick. Should be a top 5 pick in this year's draft. Overall, what are your thoughts about the Patriots in 2020 or 2024? Should they basically tank for a top 5 pick, or should they actually go out there and try to execute and potentially be a 6-7 win team?
I would hope that they would go out and try. I don't like the idea of tanking. Obviously, that's something that we say as fans. I don't think players ever go out to lose.
No.
I just don't think that they have the players that can go out and win. I think the coaching staff wants to win. The players want to win. I even think the ownership wants to win. They just don't have the horses. So as hard as they're going to try, and I hope they do, I think it's going to be a bad year for them. And the only thing I can hope is that a lot of these young guys, particularly on defense and offense, I guess, I hope that they don't get discouraged by a 4-13 season and they feel encouraged going into next year. But it's going to be a rough year.
So what are the holes on the Patriots team that like you see, like, like say if they added this piece or this piece, it could possibly turn a 3-win team into a 6-win team or a 7-win team. Like, what is that glaring weakness in the team?
Yeah, so their defense alone, to me, is a 9-10 win team if you have the right offense. But the problem is, one, they don't have a quarterback. They've got a journeyman quarterback who's a game manager. They've got a rookie who doesn't know the playbook. Their best wide receiver is Kendrick Bourne, a guy who couldn't have gotten another contract if he wanted to, and they gave him this huge extension. He's their best receiver. They've got a bunch of rookie receivers. Their offensive line is riddled. I mean, they've got Mike Onwenu playing right tackle, and I think their left tackle right now is Chukwuma Okafor. I mean, I don't know how good he is, but this offensive line, as bad as I think Mac Jones was last year, he was set up for failure. He was getting buried every single time he stepped back. So it's going to be a similar situation this year.
So you brought up receiver. and there's a receiver out there that is unhappy with his current situation. And you said Kendrick Bourne got a massive deal. This receiver that I'm speaking about is Brandon Ayuk. This guy, I think, is a very good talent out there. I think he is the actual centerpiece of the San Francisco 49ers wide receiver core. He is kind of one that makes everything click, right? Because he's able to pull that defender over and not have to double team Debo and not keep 8 guys in the box over and over and over. So as a Patriots fan, as a Patriots, like they are your team, would you make a play for Brandon Ayuk if you could?
I wouldn't. If I was going to make a play for any receiver, it would be T. Higgins in Cincinnati because he also wants out.
Right.
And he hasn't signed that or the franchise tag, right?
He did sign it last week.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's a guy that I think that I would rather get because you get him for cheaper. He's a little bit longer. I don't love Ayuk, and actually, I'll tell you something. I don't like the whole receiver market right now. I mean, the internet market, we watched that. The internet bubble burst. The running back bubble in the NFL burst with Ezekiel Elliott signing that big deal.
Right.
Now we're seeing Justin Jefferson get $35 million. Tyreek Hill wants $35 million. Brandon Ayuk wants $30 million. The wide receiver bubble is going to burst, and teams are going to start favoring draft picks in the second, third, fourth round, just like they do with running backs now with the receiver position, because they're not going to want to pay that kind of money.
So I'm actually glad you brought that up because I actually just was on a discussion earlier, and I believe it was you a couple years ago saying that the quarterback should have their own salary cap. Now that is starting to gain traction a little bit in the mainstream media per se. I believe it was the Pat McAfee show was talking about it. So basically what they're trying to do is make a quarterback, max salary cap, whatever. They get their own cash, and then the 52 other guys have the rest of the $250 million to play with. So if that were to happen, let's just play devil's advocate, that does happen. Does that help a team like the Patriots, or does it help a team like the Chiefs and the 49ers just get richer and richer and richer?
Teams that draft well and sign well get richer and richer. Teams that don't will have poorer and poorer. I don't love the idea of a salary cap just for quarterbacks. Honestly, I think it's one big salary cap. You have to manage it as an adult, as a general manager.
Right.
It would be almost like me spending too much money on junk food, and I go to Congress. I'm like, can you pass a law putting a limit on how much I can spend on junk food? No, I just need to be better at it. And the owners need to be better at signing players.
So maybe I think it was Brandon Combs that actually said that. But of course, we know Beastie and his knowledge out there is just kind of lackluster at best, right? No, I'm joking here. But then I actually had a conversation today on the internet when I thought I was having a conversation, but apparently people think I was attacking them. But I said, why not have a max contract like the NBA does? So basically, like a team can't throw billions upon billions of dollars at one player that changes the whole landscape. They have a max contract, max years, and it favors players to stay with said team. Do you think something like that would ever happen in the NFL?
It would be a really tough thing to get the players union to agree to that, because the players union agreed to the rookie salary cap when rookies were signing for $40 and $50 million.
Yep.
The union agreed to that because they said all that money is going to go to our veterans. Now you want to take money away from the veterans? It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. So you don't think there's ever going to be a mass contract or a max contract ever?
It could be used as a negotiating chip. Like if the players say, hey, listen, we'll agree to a max contract thing if we don't have to play 18 games. Let's just keep it at 17. And the NFL has done that for the last couple of years. They've wanted to go to 18, and they've held something else over the players union head to keep them, happy. So I think that could be a bargaining chip, but otherwise there's no reason for me to think that the NFL players union would want to cap salaries at all.
Yeah, and then so that's my last question for you that I have is the 18 game season. I spoke on it a little bit last week, and I said, like, at what point do we get too many NFL games? Is it the 18 games? Is it 19 games? Is it 20 games? Are you favor for an 18 game NFL season? And what is the limit of how many games you think the NFL will have in a season?
I mean, I think they could go to 18. I really wouldn't want to play more than that because you're getting rid of the preseason, so they don't have that time to warm up. And I know some people think the preseason doesn't matter, but I think it does in terms of getting in shape. It gives you that extra month to get into game shape. And I think that matters. So you're getting rid of the preseason. You now have 18 games. Then you have playoffs. It really becomes a war of attrition. I understand that the NFL wants to make money and more games equals more money.
Yeah.
But here's an idea. The NFL should partner with the UFL and say, listen, you're going to be our minor leagues so that our stars don't have to play 25 game seasons and get hurt every other game. We're going to send all of our young guys down to you, but you're an NFL affiliate now. So people are going to watch your games knowing that you're NFL, affiliated. And so that's a way that the NFL could make more money. But continuing to add NFL games, I think you're only asking your big stars to get hurt. And now you're paying them 60, 70 million a year and they're getting hurt because you have so many games. Something's got to give.
So let me be devil's advocate at this point. Yes, the NFL will make more money in the end, but also a NFL player has to play at least 4 years in the NFL to get a retirement and health insurance after they leave the game. So this might be a ploy for the NFL in the back of their head. Hey, we play 18 games. That's 2 more than the previous seasons, right? And now players are playing less because they get hurt. That extra game on the field, they get hurt. They don't want to play no more. They don't want to do the wear and tear on their knees and their heads so people are retiring after 2 years, after 3 years, so they don't have to worry about that retirement and health insurance after players leave. Do you think that is something that they might be thinking of in a roundabout, narcissistic way?
Yeah, I think there's all kinds of things they have to think about too. And I'm thinking again, as the players union, as they start to extend these games, we know that players had a lot of tread on them, quote unquote, when they played 16 game seasons and they would play for 4 years with that 5th year team option on their rookie year. By the time they hit free agency, they've got 250,000 miles on the tires, right? So they've got to, if they're going to extend the season, so now you've got 4 years of control plus a 5th year team option, and they have to play 18 games. I guarantee you the players union is going to push for a 3 year with a 4th year team option instead of to lower that contract so you become a free agent faster since you're playing more games.
Yeah, and that would be a devil's advocate, right? So, I mean, because sometimes players are crappy the first 3 years of their NFL life, and then the 4th year they blow up, and so it is a double-edged sword no matter what you think about it at the end of the day. But let me ask the question: at what point are too many NFL regular season games too many?
I think anything over 18. I don't think you can get to 20. 20 is way too much.
Yeah.
So 18 is where I would cap it.
I mean, obviously, I don't think this would ever happen, but would they ever go back to 16 games season?
I could see them going back to 16 game seasons, especially, again, it's a negotiation. So the players union would have to agree to take less. Right now, I think they get 53% or 54% of revenue. I think if they said, hey, we'll take 48% of revenue if you guys take away a game, I think the NFL would do that. But then it's a question of who wants to give up money, the owners or the players. Somebody's got to give up money in order for that to work.
Well, and to be honest, the owners are maybe making that extra game every other year, right? Because there's 9 home games, and then next year you'll have 8. And the Jacksonville Jaguars stands to they only get 6 home games because they're playing everything overseas. So I feel at some point it has to go up or down. I don't think 17 will last very long, unfortunately. And it hurts my brain. I hate doing 3 and 14, 14 and 3. Like, give me an 8 and 8, give me 9 and 9, give me an even number. Damn it. But Mark says you guys will be discussing that on July 3rd show, so be sure to check out NFL Expert Guys coming up July 3rd. But Wayne, thank you for thanks for joining me. Tell the people about your show and where they can find you before we let you go.
Absolutely. Check NFL Experts. We are on Facebook, although right now Facebook's giving us a hard time about streaming live. So you can check us out on YouTube and Twitter live, and we do rebroadcast, or we share the broadcast, as well as Spotify. If you want to listen instead of watch, you can do that. But we do have some cool graphics and things, and you can participate during the live show. But yeah, NFL Experts, Wednesday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern time. So
let me ask you this question. Why is Facebook giving you shit?
They say we don't have enough followers to have a live show.
Well, damn it, people. Go over there and like the show. I'll drop the link on the page and let's get you however many likes you guys want over there. Or what you probably need 50 or something like how many more?
I think 100. Yeah.
So let's get him 100 likes, guys. So we got my man. Oh, sorry, Wayne. Thank you for joining us, man. And we'll definitely catch you next time. All right.
See ya.
All right, guys. So that was Wayne G with the NFL Experts Podcast. We got my man WB Ant in the chat. What is up, Ant? What is up? What is up? What is up? Hope you're having a grand old day, man. It's long time no see. We'll be talking about your Ravens here pretty darn soon. Let me fix this and go back to what I know and love. Why is it so loud? There he goes. All right. So, and we'll be talking about your Ravens here in about 2 weeks. This week we're talking AFC East. Next week we're doing AFC West. And then the following week we'll be doing AFC North. Said nothing, man. Unfortunately, work been busy. Listen, man, I feel you. Work is busy. Summer is busy for me as well. Football starts back up. Football practice, work, yada, yada, yada. But, guys, we have been going through the New England Patriots. Wayne thinks we're going to go 3-14 this season. And I think the Patriots are going to do a little bit better. I think the Patriots are not going to be as bad as people think. I think the Patriots are a team that is... I mean, obviously, they are not going to go to the Super Bowl, I feel. They're probably not going to go to the playoffs. They're probably not even going to be battling for a division, but I think they get six wins this season. I think week two, they beat the Seahawks. Like we were saying earlier, we are really confused of the Seahawks. What are the Seahawks going to bring? What are the Seahawks like this season? There's a lot of what ifs with the Seahawks right now. And I think that week 2 matchup, when the Seahawks come to New England, I think they get that dub. But then losses versus the Jets, losses versus the 49ers, losses to the Dolphins, losses to the Texans, and then week 7. Week 7, I think they make that quarterback change. Week 7, I think Gerard Mayo is going to be, you know what, Jacoby Brissett, you are just not it. Right? You are just not it. You are, at this point, you are 1-5 as a starter. Yes, I know you played the Bengals. Yes, I know you played the Jets defense, which is a great defense. Yes, you play the top 49ers team, the Miami Dolphins potentially to be really, really good. The Texans should be good as well. But things are just not clicking for you, right? Things are not clicking. Let's bring in Drake May. Insert Drake May. I think they beat the Jaguars that week 7. I don't have faith in Jaguars whatsoever. I don't like Trevor Lawrence. I don't like what they've done on the offense. The Jaguars, I think, are going to be a 7-win team this season. I think they get the second win of the season versus the Jaguars. Then the momentum starts to build up. And as Wayne G likes to say, the Jets will jet. This week 8 game, the Jets will jet. They will lose this game in the 2-game winning streak for the Patriots. Look out, guys. Look out, look out, look out. Then they travel to Nashville. They lose to a good Titans team, a really much improved Titans team, and they're back on the road versus the Bears, and now all of a sudden they got 3 out of 4 wins. Things are clicking. Things are looking pretty good, right? But play a Rams team at home. Rams are going to be a lot worse this season. I don't think they're even a playoff team without Aaron Donald, but I think they lose that. They lose to Miami at Miami. The Colts come to New England. I think they lose that game as well. So as fast as the Drake May hype started, 3-4, lost 3 in a row going into the bye week. The Patriots fans are grumbling. They're upset. They're like, what do we do with our hands? We're so mad at life right now. And then they come back. They go to Arizona. They whoop that ass. Then they go to Buffalo, get that ass whooped. And then they finish out the season 2 more wins over the Chargers and the Buffalo Bills. And I think they finished 6-11 this season. I don't think they're a playoff team. I don't think they're a Super Bowl team. I don't think they're really going to, compete in these losses. I think they're going to get blown out several times this season. But when they do win, it's going to be a lot of their defense. They do have a really, really good defense in the end. And I think a Week 18 matchup over the Buffalo Bills, it's because the Buffalo Bills already have their spot locked up. Whether it's the division win or they already have a wild card seed locked up, The reason why the Patriots win that Week 18 game is because the Bills are playing. Who's their backup quarterback? Mitchell Trubisky still? Like, God, I don't even know who their backup quarterback is anymore in Buffalo. Let me look that up just because I'm curious now because we are talking about Buffalo Bills tomorrow. Mitchell Trubisky is still the backup there. So it is what it is. But I do think they go 6-7. So let me answer some of these comments here. Ant says the heat is crazy. It is crazy, man. I went back home to Kansas over the weekend, and it was like 7 o'clock in the morning. 7 o'clock in the morning, and I already have sweat running down my butt cracks, like 85 degrees. I'm like, come on, Kansas, do better. Ant says the Seahawks need to draft a quarterback next season. Many people thought they were going to draft a quarterback this season, right? I don't think the Geno Smith project is quite done in Seattle. I don't think the Geno Smith experiment project, whatever you want to call it, is done. I mean, he was drafted in 2013, so he's been 11 years in the league. So he's probably, 34, 33 years old, right? But let's not forget, though, the Seahawks did pick up Sam Howell this offseason, right? They traded for him. So they kind of already got that replacement potentially in place, and they still have XFL quarterback PJ Walker, which got picked up by the Panthers, been kind of floating around a little bit. So I would be curious to see once Geno Smith does ride off into the sunset, whether he is pushed out, whether he is, asked to leave or whatever, right? I think Sam Howell could be a good replacement. I think because watching Sam Howell film from the Commanders a couple years ago, right? Or last year, I should say, Geno Smith and Sam kind of had that same path. And I think a good mentor like Geno Smith could get Sam Howell over the edge. So I'd be kind of curious about that. And Ben Swanson says, play Fortnite. Ben, I have actually never played Fortnite. Never played Fortnite. I can download it for you. We can play some Fortnite. James Shamers in the chat. What's up, James? He says, if the Jets stay healthy, the Patriots go 0-6 in the division. So, James, my man Wayne G was just on earlier from the NFL Experts podcast. If you guys haven't done so, be sure to go over there and give that a like and a follow. Allow them to go live. Wayne G puts in a lot of effort and stuff that he does. He has some of the best graphics out there, and he does a lot of work, does a lot of good work. But he said the Jets are going to jet at some point in the season. And I have to agree with him. I think the Jets are going to jet versus the Patriots at some point this season. Whether it's week 3 game and then week 8, right? Yeah, week 3 and week 8 they play. At some point, the Jets are going to jet. Whether it be week 3, whether it be 8, whatever it is, at some point they're going to jet themselves. And with Robert Saleh being on the hot seat that he is right now, let's just be honest, if Robert Saleh is not on the hot seat, no coach in the NFL should be on the hot seat whatsoever. But I think Robert Saleh is going to buttholes and be puckered a lot this season. Every game when the Jets walk out there and Aaron Rodgers gets sacked, his butthole is going to pucker. Because Robert Saleh and the whole Jets organization is based off of 35-year-old plus players. And the Jets' schedule is not easy, right? They play the 49ers, Titans, Patriots, Broncos, Vikings, Bills, Steelers, all in the first 7 weeks of the season. Yes, it's the Broncos. Yes, it's the Patriots. But got to travel to London, right, to play the Vikings. Or not, is it London? I don't even know where they're playing. Somewhere over there. The health of the Jets is very, very key. The defense should be good, but I'm just worried about Robert Saleh's ability to coach, honestly. I'm worried about his ability to coach. Is he really a good head coach? I mean, I know he was a good defensive coach in 49ers, right? Obviously. Notify me about what? When we talk to Jets? WB Ant come out here with the smoke today. This man's out here in the heat, busting his nuts, and he's bringing that smoke, making it even hotter in here. He says the Bills may miss the playoffs. Don't be surprised. We've been talking about what if teams, kind of like head scratching teams like the Seahawks, like the Titans, like the Colts. We don't, the Rams. Really don't know what we're going to get out of them, right? The Buffalo Bills pretty much scratched their whole receiver core. Gabe Davis, get out of town. Stephon Diggs, get out of town, right? Hell, their whole secondary, get out of town. The Buffalo Bills is practically a brand new team with a veteran quarterback and some receivers that many people have not heard of, right? When you look at their receiver core, I think Dawson Knox is really the only guy that I can be like, hey, that's right? Both of their tight ends are pretty good. And the Shakir guy, he was the rookie from last season, right? But other than that, you got MVS, which was cut by the Chiefs, didn't do shit in Kansas City, but besides drop balls. You got Chase Claypool. Is it going to be Chase Claypool of his rookie year with the Steelers, or is it going to be the Bears or the Miami Dolphins Chase Claypool that forgets his gloves or his pants or something, right? And then Keenan Coleman potentially could be a really good receiver, but once again, a rookie, you don't know what he's going to get. So I really feel like the Buffalo Bills are going to rely a lot on James Cook. I think he's still running against the Dallas Cowboys untouched still, right? From December, still rolling it down. But if the Buffalo Bills miss the playoffs, it won't be because of their offense. It'll be because of their defense. I'm more worried about their defense. All those new names on the defense has me worried about the Buffalo Bills, but I don't think they'll miss the playoffs. We'll be breaking down the Buffalo Bills tomorrow, so guys, tune into that. 2:30 East Coast time right here at Facebook.com, of course, YouTube.com. And if you want to listen to it on podcast forms, always on Spotify. But Ant says Colts are my dark horse in that last seed. Listen, I don't want to give too much away from the AFC South when we talk about them toward the middle of July here. But spoiler alert, I think the Colts are going to be a really, really good team. I think the Texans are going to take a step back. I think the Jaguars are terrible. Titans are much improved. And the Colts we finally get to see them potentially be a division winner like I thought they were going to be the last couple seasons, right? We will see. We will see. John Peoples is saying, I'm hearing Dak to Seattle. Listen, Dak Prescott is a top 10, top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Dak Prescott is a really good talent. Dak Prescott is not the reason why the Dallas Cowboys got blown out versus the Green Bay Packers. Dak Prescott's not the reason why the Buffalo Bills blew them out. The last 3 years, the Dallas Cowboys have not had the problem with Dak Prescott. It's been, let's just be honest, the head coach of the Washington Commanders. His defense shit the bed in the big games. Even back when he was a coach at Atlanta, shit the bed during big games. That's just his MO. But Dak to Seattle would be a very, very good piece, right? Dak to anywhere. Dak to your Las Vegas Raiders, John, would be excellent. Dak to the Rams would be even better, right? Yes, I know they got Jimmy G if he ever comes back from steroid use, but pretty much Dak anywhere makes a lot of sense. I think Dak could fit almost in any system in the NFL and be successful. Oh. James says the AFC will be super tight this season. The Bills will want to win that last game for playoff positioning. We will see. We will break it down. We got all month is AFC talk, guys. All month is AFC talk. All this week is AFC East. So tomorrow we'll do the Buffalo Bills. Wednesday we got the Jets, and Thursday we're doing the Dolphins. Dolphins. James says the notifying me to get the 1 year following man hour badge. Let's go. You've been following me for a year? Hell yeah, James. Click that badge, brother. Represent. Represent. Come on, man. James says, if Dak leaves Dallas, he's going to the Raiders. I mean, obviously the Raiders want to win now, right? They want to win now. They have Adrian O'Connell. They have not Mitchell Trubisky. Garner Minshew, right? I don't think either one of those quarterbacks are good enough to get them 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 wins this season. I actually have them going 4-13 this season. People are pissed about that. You want to piss off some Raiders fans, tell them they're getting 4 wins this season. You get death threats non-stop. But it's just it is tough. It is tough. And John says the Colts are a 500 team. Keep whack Dak for the Vegas Raiders. I just the roster that the Colts have established, right? If old Anthony Richardson is healthy all season long, plays all 17 games, I don't see them as a 500 team at all. Jonathan Taylor finally is back healthy, it seems like, right? Michael Pittman Jr. is the man, the myth, the legend. They still got Alec Pierce. I love that guy. Love that guy. He's a dog. And the defense just always seems to be really, really good. DeForest Buckner's still there, right? You got EJ Speed, Nick Cross in the safety. I like it. Hell no, give me Jimmy G before that. Listen, I think Jimmy G would have been successful for the Raiders if you guys would have gave him a freaking fair chance. Little cheaters. WBN says, if Dak does get traded, do y'all think they will replace him with Trey Lance? Listen, the Dallas Cowboys are in a position right now to basically not be able to afford their stars, right? They already had to release, they let Michael Gallup go, which he is a part of the Raiders now, right? CeeDee Lamb's going to be up for a deal here soon, or he's up for a deal now, right? Micah Parsons is up for a deal. Trayvon Diggs is going to be up for a deal, right? The offensive line, they keep paying them, those old guys. I think Trey Lance was a good trade. What, they got a 5th round pick for him, 4th round pick for a number 3 overall pick in Trey Lance. I think Trey Lance has the potential to be a good quarterback in the NFL, but I don't think it's with the Cowboys. I think if the Dallas Cowboys, if we're not wishing injury on anybody, but if Dak Prescott happens to go down, right, or if they're 5-win team this season going into week 12 and beyond, I think then we see Trey Lance, because I think he's on the final year of his deal as well. You see Trey Lance, and they're simply using him to get trade bait to bring a quarterback in. I gotta know. I have not watched any Dallas Cowboys minicamp or OTAs yet. I've been trying to catch up on my on my AFC teams here, so we can logically talk about them moving forward. But if Trey Lance hasn't improved from last year going into this season, he is definitely not going to be the Dallas Cowboys starting quarterback. And no starting quarterback should ever wear 19. Just come on, you're better than that, dog. But back to the Patriots, I had them going 6-11. 6-11 this season, guys. Let me know your thoughts on this. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. I will post this image up on our Facebook page about 4 o'clock-ish once the show is over. So let me know your thoughts. Let's have a healthy discussion about that. Ant brings up a great point here. Aiden Mitchell, Pittman, Pierce, Jalen Woods with AR and JT, the Colts do have a nice young core. I wouldn't put JT as the young, but they do have a very, very nice core there in Indianapolis. Plus, Steichen, right? I like him. I think Steichen is a really, really good coach. And let's not forget, guys, if was it Trey Sermon that dropped that pass? I think it was Trey Sermon dropped the pass. And if he would have caught that pass, the Indianapolis Colts would have been in the playoffs last season with a backup quarterback, without JT, without Michael Pittman Jr., right? If he would have caught that pass versus the Houston Texans would have been out, Colts would have been in. What would have happened then, right? People need to stop sleeping on the Colts. They're a good team. Finished second in the AFC South last season because of a drop pass. Just be honest. But guys, this is Man Hour NFL Talk every Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. East Coast time to 4 o'clock p.m. East Coast time, give or take a couple minutes. Members only stream for the first 30 minutes of the show. The live show starts at 2:30, and we go until we tired, or until 4 o'clock, or until when my wife says, speed it up. But catch you guys next time. We out.